Good day, this is SD from Blender file, and today we are finally making our first scene in Blender. Let's have a look at our final result. It is this thing, eggs in Blender. Okay, so let's not waste time and get started. Start by opening a new blend file and then delete the default cube and add a UV sphere. Okay, now over here you can see there are a few properties which are related to the UV sphere we have just added. So you just increase these segments. These are like the longitudes which are there on these ones, and these are the latitudes. So we'll just double them, the default value which was 32, and over here it was 16, so we'll just double it to 64 and this to 32. Okay, now if we have a look, oh yes, wait a sec, I'll just open this one. Now you can see which buttons I am pressing on my keyboard and mouse. And now let's go to front view, press Q to open the circular pie menu for views and go to front view. Okay, now you can see, if you see an egg, it is actually a layered, gradual downscaling of layers, like okay, let's not talk about it, let's just show you. Go to edit mode, and then if you select topmost vertex over here, and then if you grab this up, you see it comes out to like a spike, and this is not required. Let's control Z. What we want is like the egg moves up like that and also gets downscaled, but in a gradual way, not like an instant. So the way to do it is using the proportional editing option in Blender. Okay, over here you can see this black dot. Just click over here and select enable. Now what it does is, if you select the top vertex and move it up, now you can see there is a circle over here, the circle, and then you can see the vertex are getting up in the z-axis gradually. So what it is doing is, it is having a fixed ratio. This circle gives a fixed ratio under which the vertex over here will get affected by the movement of our selected vertex. So now let's give this one a eggish look. So we'll just grab it, z-axis, and we'll just scroll, but my scroll is actually a bit disturbed, so I'll use the page up and page down to increase or decrease the radius of the circle, and then we'll just grab it up on the z-axis until it looks like an egg. Okay, I guess that's it. This looks like an egg. Okay, so you can see we are done with our meshing of the egg. So let's snap out of edit mode and take our cursor to center. Okay, you can see over here is that the faces, like the curve around this curve is getting braked over these portions where we can see the faces. So we want the egg to get more smoother, and so that we are not able to see these breaks. So for that we are going to subdivide the surface. Let's get over here to this wrench icon. These are the modifiers tab, and then we'll just add a modifier which is subdivision surface, and then you can see the faces are getting subdivided and smaller. Okay, and then you can increase this view to 2 and we get a more smoother egg. Now to give this a more smooth look, we'll go over this side and in the shading select smooth, and now you can see there are actually no breaks in the egg mesh. Okay, So that's good. Yeah, I am also preparing a full series of tutorial on every modifier that you are seeing over here. That will be coming in future, so you just wait for them. Right now we are just using the subdivision surface. Okay, now let's add a ground for this egg to rest on. So press Shift A and mesh and add a plane. Okay, now we want the plane to be the size of this grid, exactly of this grid. So just press S to scale it, and also you can type in a value of scaling. So I'll just type in 8 and press enter. Okay, that's good. And now let's place the egg over the plane. So that's just above the x-axis, and like that, I guess. That's like that. Yeah, that's good. Okay, now our egg is resting over the plane, and let's add another egg for this one. So we'll press Alt D while the egg selected, and you can see we have duplicated the egg. Okay, now press x-axis, and over here press left click. Okay, so there are actually two ways you can duplicate an object. One is Alt D and another is Shift D. This also duplicates the object. So okay, now what's the difference between Alt D and Shift D? It is like, if you are duplicating an object using the Shift D, then what is happening is this object with the Shift D is looking similar to this, but any changes you will do to this now will not be affecting this egg. But if you are using Alt D to duplicate, then any change you are doing to this egg, then it will affect this egg as well. So let's show you an example. If I go to edit mode, and then if I select this portion and grab it over here like this, you can see it is actually making no change to this egg. So let's delete this one, and if I change this egg, like selecting this portion and grabbing it up like that, then you can see both the meshes are getting changed in a similar manner. Okay, so let's Control Z. Yeah, that's good. Okay, but in the object mode, if you are doing any changes, it is not affecting that another egg. So it will only affect if you are doing any changes in this edit mode. Okay, now let's put this egg on the ground, like fallen on the ground. So let's go to right view and rotate this to like something like that. Okay, and then grab it on the z-axis like that, and that's good. Okay, and from top view, give it a slight rotation on this side like that, and that's okay. Let's make this one like leaning on this egg. So from front view, grab it on like that and like that, and make sure these are touching each other like that. I guess they are not touching. Okay, a bit more like that, and that's it. So our scene is ready with our eggs in the scene and resting over a plane. Now it's time for setting up the camera and lighting and coloring our scene up. So first let's do the camera settings. Press Q and go to camera view, and you can see this border. Inside this border, whatever you are seeing will be there in your final scene. So we just want the camera to be something like over here. How are we going to do it? So we'll just go into camera, and then we'll press our N key, and that will open a hidden properties tab. It is, I guess, the scenes property. Okay, and down here we'll just find the view option, and over here we'll check this lock camera to view. Now you can see there is a red border around the camera, and press N to hide this. Now if you if you navigate around the scene, then the camera will also move with your scene. Okay, so let's just quickly set up the camera, something like this, I guess, a bit more zoomed. Okay, yeah, and make sure once you have set up your camera, you do untick this one, else if you like scrolled out, then you're doomed. You are just simply doomed. Okay, so we have set up our camera. We'll not be using this lamp for lighting source. We'll be using a plane instead, which will be emitting light. Shift S, go to center. We'll add another plane and we'll grab it behind the camera. Make sure that this plane is not visible in your camera. Okay, and then we'll just scale it up a bit like that and rotate it so that it is facing the eggs. And from front view, we'll scale it on the x-axis, very big. Okay, and like that. Yeah, that's good. So our scene is almost ready. Okay, we'll just fill this white space with our plane. So grab the plane and then grab it on the y-axis like that. So it's just filling up, and you can see places left over here, x-axis like that. And if your plane is actually smaller than the camera size, so just like scale it a bit more. Okay, so that's good, I guess. Now let's get into coloring. Okay, in Blender there are two ways you can color your scene. One is using Blender's internal coloring system, and another one is using the cycles render over here. Okay, we'll be using cycle render because it gives a more realistic look to your scene, and everyone is focusing on realism, photorealism nowadays, so we'll just make this as real as possible. Okay, now with our X selected, go over here to this one, this sphere looking reddish circle. This is the materials tab, and then we'll select new material, and you can say, because we have all this material, this egg having material is also there on this egg, so both the eggs are having the same material. So if we are editing material for any of them, it will get affected on the other one as well. Okay, now we'll just change this to, okay, we'll keep it diffuse. Diffuse is like slapping a base color onto your object, so we'll just keep this like that, and we'll change the color to something like here, slightly off-white. Yeah, you can use the hex code. Okay, I'm sorry, that was the truck outside. Okay, you can use the hex code that is E7, E2 and CB. Okay, that's a good hex code, I guess. Okay, and then we'll increase the roughness to 0.8, and because egg is rough, it does not reflect color, so we'll just give it a roughness. We want it to slightly reflect the color it has got. Oh, okay, now let's color on the background, this plane, add new material, and from diffuse change it to velvet, and then change the color to slightly bluish over here. You can write the hex code, it is 5AA4E7. Okay, that's good. And now lighting, over here select this mesh and new, and change this diffuse to emission over here, emission. Okay, increase the strength to 5 and the color to extreme white. So I guess this is good. Yeah, over here this is the world color this world tab. Okay, change this color to very dark, like black. Use the hex code 000000. Okay, so that will change the world color, which is this grayish portion over here. All around this emptiness, it will change its color to black, so that it doesn't affect our scene. So we have colored the egg, the background, and lighting. Now it's time to see what we have made. So we are going to render our image. Over here, this camera tab, you can go over here and press this render button, and you will see Blender has changed its view, and now it will render the image for you. I'll just wait for a sec. I'll just pause the video until it renders. Okay, so this is our rendered scene, but you can see this is some chaotic things over here. It is called noise. So this is because of the low quality image rendering that we have done. So to remove this noise and get a high quality image, we'll go down here, and in the samples tab, we'll increase this render samples to 100. Well, I'll recommend you to put this 200, but as I have to render this for you and also at the same time record the screen, I'll keep this at 100. Okay, and then you'll just press this render button again, or you can use the keyboard shortcut, which is F12. Okay, and then it will render the image again for you, and this time you can see this is more slower than the previous one, because this time Blender is, you know, giving it a high quality render and like that, so it will take a bit more time than the previous one, so you have to wait. And if you have a good CPU, then it should render a bit faster, but still it will be slower than the previous one where it used 10 samples here. So the more this sample is, the better the quality of your image will be, and the slower the image will be formed, the slower the image will be rendered. Okay, yeah, I'll just pause the video until this image is getting rendered, then we'll save the image, and I guess that will be it. We'll be finished with making our first scene. Okay, let's pause the video. Okay, it has almost rendered, and it took me about 10 minutes to render this one, and this is our final result. So we made our first scene, which are eggs in Blender. And now to save this image, you press hover over this image and press F3, and then select the directory where you want to save. I'll just save it over the desktop and give it a name, egg, and then press enter and save as image. Okay, that's it. We have made our first scene in Blender, and you can have a look at it from the desktop. It's there over here, and this is your final scene. So we have made our first scene in Blender. I hope you like it, and I hope to see you in my next video. Till then, this is SD from Blender File, and thank you.